What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So today on ESPN First Take, Mad Dog Russo and Stephen A. Smith got into a spirited debate about which franchise is the most dominant in the history of the NBA. Whether it's the Los Angeles Lakers or whether it's the Boston Celtics. Now, of course, Boston now, with their series victory, NBA Finals victory over the Dallas Mavericks, once again overtake the Lakers for most championships in NBA history with 18. 18, all right, for the last 14 years. Not 14, excuse me. For the last 4 years, with the bubble title, the Lakers had technically tied Boston. I say technically because, I mean, a lot of us really give that bubble title. I mean, but then again, to be fair, Dallas, losing to Boston, Boston had one of the easiest runs ever too. So whatever. I'm not really gonna make that an issue here. Stephen A's point for the Lakers being the more dominant franchise is that even though they have one less title than the Boston Celtics, but them appearing in 9 more final appearances makes them the more relevant and more historically significant and relevant team. Boston has appeared in 23 NBA Finals, and I think the Lakers have appeared in 32 NBA Finals. So Stephen A's point is that makes the Lakers more relevant than Boston. That is true to a certain extent. Boston's had a lot more lean years, especially in the post-Russell era, than the Lakers have. I mean, only really in recent years, in the Jenny Buss era, have the Lakers been irrelevant. I mean, there was a period of time, I think, over a 70-year period where the Lakers only missed the playoffs 5 times. But this is my issue with Stephen A. Smith's argument. When you really listen to his argument, it goes against his logic for LeBron not being the GOAT against Mike. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think LeBron's the GOAT. But Stephen A. Smith's argument goes against LeBron's because you could argue, well, LeBron has fewer championships than Mike, but he's played 21 going on 22 years to Jordan's 15 and really 13 full seasons. You see what I'm saying? You could say, well, LeBron's been able to be relevant for a longer period of time than Jordan. He didn't win as much, but he's been relevant for a long. You see what I'm saying? He went against his own argument for Jordan, which is championships. Any other time, Stephen A. Smith is so gung-ho about championships. And if it's about final appearances, then LeBron's been at 10 to Jordan's 6. You see what I'm saying? That happens when you don't think out your arguments very well. We're all guilty of it to a certain extent, but that's when you're starting to not use your normal logic and you're being biased, that's when people can start picking apart your arguments and show that you're being inconsistent. Now, Mad Dog Russo was incorrect about one thing. He said that the Lakers won 4 of their championships in Minneapolis. They won 5 of them. Okay. 5 of them came in Minneapolis. So that means that in all actuality, 12 championships have been won in LA. 12. 1972, which is the first one, led by Wilt. Then 1980, which is the second. 1982 was the third. 1985 was the fourth. 1987 was the fifth. And then 88 was the sixth. And then the three-peat were 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then Kobe's championships at the bottom of the decade were 10 and 11. And then number 12 was LeBron's bubble title. So he's a little bit off with that. But yeah, I mean, technically you could say, if you're just talking about LA, that's an 18 to 12 lead. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, that's a major flaw in Stephen A. Smith's argument. Also, he took up a shot at Wilt Chamberlain, saying the reason why he doesn't hold Wilt with the same reverence as others, people like myself, is that Wilt only won 2 championships in the Bill Russell era. But my argument against that is, okay, that's true. Okay. But how many championships did other players, other stars, win in the Bill Russell era? Because when you look at it, the only players to win championships in the Bill Russell era, other than Bill Russell, was Bob Pettit and Wilt Chamberlain. That's it. Okay, what gets me is nobody else has this stigma of Elgin Baylor never technically won a championship. Jerry West didn't win a championship in the Bill Russell era. Oscar Robertson didn't win a championship in the Bill Russell era. But only Wilt is stigmatized for this. Not to mention the fact that in the playoffs, I think we all can agree that big men are at a disadvantage in the playoffs when it comes to dominating. And the reason why that is because they got to get the ball. And if you can trap and deny the basketball, if you're a great defensive team, oftentimes that will slow the big man down. That happened to Karl Malone a lot. Karl Malone was their main weapon in Utah. And oftentimes in the playoffs, he got stopped because of that. Now, one regular season game, that might not be the case. But when you get the game plan for a series, and that's your one guy, your one weapon, and he's a post player, you got to get him the ball, it's more easy to game plan for that than a perimeter guy who has the ball in his hands at all time. He can break down defenses and can score. So that's part of the reason why Chamberlain struggled a little bit in the postseason. He was going up against the best defensive team in the NBA perennially in the Boston Celtics. And as I said before, even with that, he still averaged 29 points and 29 rebounds against Bill Russell. The difference makers in those series were not Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell. It was the backcourt of Boston dwarfing in talent and scoring the backcourt of those Philadelphia Warriors teams. And then, that's pretty much what it was. And then later on, he had some bad luck when it came to the Sixers. He had that one great year, but then in 68, when they should have repeated, they were decimated by injuries. I think they had injuries to almost all their star players outside of Wilt. I think Chet Walker got hurt. I think Billy Cunningham got hurt. I think Chet Walker got hurt. So, it is what it is, man. Whatever. I'm not going to keep going down these arguments with people. People are going to believe what they want to believe. But at the end of the day, only in the last 25 years since he passed away, has Wilt Chamberlain's status gone down the way it has with some of these people. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's kind of sad. It's sad, that Wilt gets all this grief because he didn't win as many championships as people say he should have won. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, Bill Russell had the great fortune of playing with 12 Hall of Famers on his team in the 13 years. 12 guys. 12. But that's not a factor, though. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it.